All right, we are continuing today with some linear equations. So we're going to figure out how to get those linear equations from different pieces of information, from the y-intercept and the slope, from 2 points, things like that. So before we dive in, let's again just remember the formula is y equals mx plus b, or PO equals dn plus, P of n plus PO. So M and D are that slope, and then B and PO are that initial value. So we've got some nice problems that we can work through. So to start with, make sure my recording's good. Okay. To start with, again, we've got that y equals mx plus b. You can be given b multiple ways. You can be told b, or you can find out that it's 0, b. So with 1, for example, you have the slope, you have the y-intercept, that's b, that's m, and it tells you it. So we can put that together. When we're filling in an equation, we fill in m and we fill in b. So 5x plus 4. Same deal here. We fill in our m. We fill in our b. And then I'm going to rewrite this nicely to be 0.75x minus 10. But it could also be given to you in this point form, 0, 10, where you also know that that's your initial value. And then you could keep going and we can do fractions. Fractions are okay. This would be my m. This would be my b. So these are nice fill-in ones. Okay, so again, the x coordinate is always 0 in your y-intercept. Okay, now if you're given a point, like say you're given the slope is 3 and you're given the point 21, that is not b, and you have to instead solve for it. So that's what we're doing next. So be aware, you may not necessarily have the b given to you, but if it is, you just need to fill it in. So here is now where we have the slope and we're just given a point, not necessarily the point that's the y-intercept, but we can find it. So this is another formula that I find just easy to use. It's point slope form. You have the m and you have 1 point, and you put that slope and that point in, and then you resolve it for y. Don't want to memorize another one, that's okay. And then I want to reiterate your slope formula. And if you're thinking, I don't want to memorize one more formula, if you already know slope formula, all it is just moving over the x's. Okay, so it's truly just rewriting it, and then we leave y and x alone. So that's how you can work backwards from it if you don't want to memorize another one, but definitely make sure you know your slope formula. So where this comes in handy is you would put in your m, you would put in your 1 point, and then all you have to do is move over your y. Distribute, move over y, and you're done. So this says write the equation of the line. So I'm going to do y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. You could leave it like that unless it specifically asks for a different way. Now, when it asks for the y-intercept, now we can go through and we can solve it. So this is y minus 4. Make sure to distribute. And then I add my 4. So now I also have it in the other form, and I have my y-intercept, which is 0, 2 that I got from there. So it's easy to move it around. And again, if you kind of think of it as it's the slope formula just rewritten, I think it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so we've got another one coming. Given the slope and the point, find the equation of the line. So we have m and we have our y. There's our y1, it's 2.3. Our M is negative 0.75 and our X1 is 1.1. And I could leave it like that. Now to get the y-intercept, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do y minus 2.3 equals negative 0.75 x minus 1.4. Doop, doop. Make sure we distribute. And then add 2.3 over. Oh, I got carried away. It should be 1.05. Sorry about that. And then when we add it over, we get 3.35. So that becomes our y-intercept. And that becomes our b. Now, if you're not sure, put it in there. Put in 0 for x and see what you get. Do you get 3.35? If not, it's gone wrong. If so, then it's gone right. So that's your help. So you can always recheck these, put that in, and see if you really get the same answer. All right, then you can also do it with fractions. So you could put in y minus y1. Now double negative makes a positive. X minus x1. And now we can leave it like that. But for the y-intercept part, we've got to distribute y plus 2 equals 3/5 x plus 3/5 times 5. So I put it to both pieces there. That cancels. So that at least looks nice. Y plus 2 equals 3/5 x plus 3 minus your 2. So you get y equals 3/5 x plus 1. So 0, 1 is my y-intercept there. Okay, now then going for the whole thing, if you don't have the slope and you have the 2 points, what you would do first is you would find the slope using this equation of slope, and then pick one point and put it in that point slope form. Okay, so we would first want to go ahead and find slope. Okay. And then use one of the points to solve the equation for B. And you know what? It actually doesn't matter. Either point is going to give you the exact same results. And then if you use that to solve for y, you'll come out with y equals mx plus b, and you're done. So you can tell me your intercept from there. You can tell me the slope from there. You can give me the formula. So make sure to take a minute. Let's get all these down. Get our steps, get our slope point slope form before we dive into a couple practice problems. All right, now that we are ready for a few practice, and if you're not ready, just pause the video. All right, now that you're ready, we're going to find the equation. Find the equation line from the graph. Sorry. So what you can do when you have a graph is you can pick 2 points. Now, this one kind of has the nice part. We can pick it to be the y-intercept. So we can already have the b there. So I already know that b is 4. So when I'm doing y equals mx plus b, I already know the 4. That's not always the case. It's not the case on number 8, but it is the case for this one. All right, so this one, I can start with the slope. Now, if I have the graph and I have 2 points, I know I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and do 6/3 for the slope. Same thing as if you did solve it. If you did y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, you get -6/-3, which is 2. So either way, you pick. And then step 2, I don't really need to do because I already have it. I already have my M and I already have my B, so I'm done. So I don't really have a step 3 because I'm already solved. There we go. All right, so then here, if you have the graph, but it doesn't go through a y-intercept clearly, like I don't really know what that is. It could be a third, it could be a half, I don't know. So I can't pick that point. I've got to pick 2 points that I definitely know are there. And now I'm going to have to solve for the slope. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, double negative makes a positive, gives me -2/6 or -1/3. Now I'm going to have to pick any point. It doesn't really matter which point you pick, really. I'm going to go with the first one and do the y minus y1 equals -1/3 x minus x1. Okay. So y minus 1 equals -1/3 x minus 2/3. I distributed the 1/3 plus 1. So I get y equals -1/3 x plus 1/3. Oh, I was right. It was a third. All right. So my y-intercept is 0,1/3. So I've got my answers there. So that's if you have a graph, you can grab the points off it. Now, if you want to do it based on no graph and you only have the points, it's the same idea where you would want to find slope, use 1 point, and then solve for y. Okay. So pause it, make sure you can do it, go for it. And then when you turn the video back on, make sure you were okay. So M is 4 minus 2, 3 minus 1. Whoop, didn't get my guy out over there. 6/2 is 3. Y, I'm going to just pick this first point. Minus y1 equals 3x minus 1. And then I've got that answer. All right, and then going on to my next one. Slope would be -3 minus 1, 5 minus 1. I'm going to do this first point, y plus 1 equals -1/3 x plus 1. Y plus 1 equals -1/3 x minus 1/3 minus 1 minus 1. Make sure you're doing your combined fraction work. -1/3 x minus 4/3 for your answer. Okay. And then that concludes this topic for this video.